Good morning, students. Welcome to Success Tree classes. We will do India Yearbook 2017. It's a very beautiful government document that is important for both PT and mains. Now, the importance is much as there are many questions that are being asked in the PT exam as from current affair. So it will provide you authentic source for the government schemes. It is also important for analysis of the certain portion of mains as well. So the focus should be based on more of the new schemes, as the yearbook, if you see, compared to the last years, it has transformed itself a lot. It is more focused on the new government programs and initiatives. So we hope in the next, say, 10 to 12 classes, we'll try to complete this India yearbook. So I hope you will enjoy. If you like the videos, you hit like, subscribe to our channel as well, and you can comment as well if you wish, if you have any doubt. Thank you. So here we have certain, there are different points, else other points have been incorporated here, that under which act it works. IT Act again, then awareness and security issues, it has its own website, certain.org. Then moreover, it also works on the incident prevention and response services as well as service quality management service. These functions we have done it in the last class. And it also, the infrastructure of certain has been upgraded to protect against distributed denial of service. So DOS kind of attacks also happens, denial of service attacks, right? So certain has now also been upgraded to protect our system against denial of service act, distributed denial of service. There are certain services which are provided by each and every system, for example, the government side, electricity, whatever the service is provided, denial of service. So if the sudden cyber attack happens, in a way to deny the service from that particular institution. Then there is state-of-the-art disaster recovery site. So in case of any kind of cyber disaster happens, so to recover from the disaster. So now this will be optional at CDEC Bangalore, which will take up the essential IT services of certain in case of this any kind of a disaster happens in cyber space. So this will be optional, something out of that. So DR site to ensure 24/7 operational readiness of certain. Then there is this security assurance framework. So need to assure the security by framework. The purpose would be to create awareness among the government organization and other critical cyber infrastructure, so critical sector organizations, so their security, awareness among them. What are critical installations? Any kind, there are various critical installations. Nuclear energy, any kind of power that could be under critical installation, right? So means attack on those critical installation, we had to make more and more secure those installations. How? One of the ways is creating awareness among those so that they could take preemptive actions. So information security audit, vulnerability assessment of those, and penetration test of the networked infrastructure. Then there is CMP, crisis management plan. In case of crisis happens, cyber crisis, so there is a plan for that. That is crisis management plan. For what? To counter cyber attacks and cyber terrorism. So this is particularly dedicated to cyber attacks and cyber terrorism. So we have this committee, National Crisis Management Committee. So this work is to approve the different kind of plans, including this crisis management plan. So National Crisis Management Committee and Crisis Management Plan. Even if you remember the heading and what the function is, so you are creating many different dimensions of cybersecurity. Then cybersecurity drills. So just like any other disaster, any other security issue comes. So function of cybersecurity drills, again to make them security organization aware about the different kind of the cyber threats and what kind of actions could be taken in case of the attack happens. So improving the cybersecurity awareness among the key sector organizations. So it helps them to prepare in advance, because more and more the different institution we ourselves get prepared, so more and more we are in fact able to handle the situation in case it happens. It will increase our, it will reduce our response time, it will increase our responsiveness in case of any cyber attack happens. And again again go through the objective. What was the objective? We need to increase our responsiveness, right? To prevent it, we could prevent it if we are ready at the first hand, right? If you're ready at first and if you know that what action to be taken in case of cyber attack, then we could minimize the damage as well. So all these are functions of any kind of the cyber security drills awareness that come along with it. Then security cooperation collaboration. So it talks about different international cooperation and collaboration, so that to exchange information regarding latest cybersecurity threats and international best practices. So what is being practiced in other countries, the various developed part of the world, what those countries follow to secure their cyberspace, and moreover what techniques they follow in case of any kind of cyber attack happens, how the response would be. So it helps in the exchange of those kind of information. Moreover, it also talks about, because attackers as well as the victims, they could be from the different countries, so international jurisdiction. So it requires the collaboration between the different countries. Then there is first, you can see this forum of incident response and security teams. So certain is a member of first. Certain is also a member of APCRT, that is Asia Pacific CERT. So you can see our CERT is having agreement, the collaboration with various institutions across the world. Then MOU with the US CERT. Then it is also a partner of Anti-Phishing Working Group, APWG. So all these come under security cooperation and collaboration. Then security awareness by same training workshop and all. Then cyber forensics. So just like other crime forensics, the same way cyber is also crime, cyber crime. So forensic of the cyber crime, how the various equipments that are used for the cyber crime, the computer, the various instruments. So scientific investigation of those equipments. The network traffic scanning. So across the IT network, all across the India, so scanning of that network, so that in case of any kind of hint that something suspicious activity going on, so that preemptive actions could be taken and people could be made aware about it. So certain also works on that to gather useful information, network traffic information from different IT networks for meaningful analysis to detect and predict possibility of cyber attacks. So it scans the network traffic. So all these they have been taken from India Airbook 2016. So you can go through them once again. Every other parameter they are talking about different kind of the dimensions regarding cybersecurity.
For network traffic scanning, they are talking about the computing network, right?
The network across, yes. So again go through them. Let's revise them again. Last से देखते हैं network traffic scanning, we did it just right now. Cyber forensics, right? Security awareness, security cooperation collaboration, certain having collaboration with various institutions. Drills, crisis management plan, CMP by NCMC. Security assurance framework, and various other functions of CERT. And this is the holistic approach. Now again go through these points. R&D, legal framework, security incidents early warning and response, best security policy compliance and assurance, international cooperation and security training. Sorry, वहीं पर ही है. Chapter number 8. communication, information technology. The same chapter that we did last time, I just brought those points at this place. Yes. ठीक है. So again go through them. Cybersecurity very important for your mains point of view. For PT you can leave, not an issue. बताइए, then we just revise it once again. Kavi? Cybersecurity certain functions, like what are different different arrangements to handle cybersecurity issues.
Forensics.
Cyber forensics. Okay, next. You remain in class.
Information dissemination at the different nodes.
What? You're not listening to it even. Yes, Ritvik.
The cyber forensic center.
Yeah, he had said cyber forensics.
Network traffic.
Yes, what is that? What is that?
Sir,
scanning of
the network traffic.
Yes, good. What, Vibhu?
Sir, holistic approach
Hmm.
from R&D legal framework.
बता दीजिए सारा.
Sir, to prevent anti-phishing activities.
Hmm.
Globally, there are anti-phishing.
So what is that? That comes under collaboration and cooperation. So there are different collaboration, cooperation. वहाँ पर एक point है आपका simple just. Yes, Divya. Cybersecurity drills, Abhishek.
Sir, first APC.
तो वो सारे के सारे all those points come under cooperation and collaboration. So you can look on the book. Huh? Cybersecurity policy 2000. Yes. Crisis management plan. Next, yes, Kavi. So remain in class, you learn more. Ritvik.
Yes, sir.
इसके अलावा कुछ रहता है?
Sir, international collaboration with AP CERT, US CERT.
ठीक है.
Denial of service. Anti-phishing network. Denial of service. Distributed network. Training.
ठीक है. So all these are the points. You just see through them once again. In the legal framework, what is the legal framework? IT Amendment Acts. You have IT Act 2000, 2008. New forms of cyber crimes, they have been included. This policy, National Cyber Coordination Center, NCCC, certain. Then Cyber Appellate Tribunal you have. Security Assurance Framework, CMP, drills, cooperation, collaborations, security awareness, cyber forensics, network traffic scanning. So that's all. Where is that?
Electronics semiconductor manufacturing services.
ESD में आपका ऊपर आए देंगे. Electronics and service design manufacturing, something like this it is.
Electronic system
design manufacturing. So there is a policy for that. So that's all. Now we come to next chapter. That is, we'll start from energy. Chapter number 11, energy. Sorry? Electronic system design manufacturing. So ESD policy is there. So in last year India book this topic was given. 2016 India book.
Even this year they have revised this ECDM policy for bringing it net zero import by 2020. This year is it.
Okay. Now we come to energy, the chapter number 11. Important for both mains and PT. So function of energy, the objective, how it could be used or function for economic development and improving the quality of life. So we'll discuss different kind of energy, renewable, non-renewable. So in power, there is Ministry of Power. So there are different institutions. that is Central Electricity Authority, NTPC, National Hydropower Corporation, Hydroelectric Power Corporation, Northeast Electric Power Corporation, Power Grid Corporation of India Limited, PGCIL. Just go through them once, no need to cram these. Don't put much of the time. Just see these are the institutions, that's it, in one go. Yes, Power Grid, one of the function is formation of National Power Grid. There is PGCIL that is involved in the formation and creation of National Power Grid. Come to the next point, that is capacity addition. Yeah, you remember how much total installed capacity is. That is important for as a data for your mains. So how much in the yearbook it is given that 2,82,000 megawatt. But presently, as we read in the last class, one of the classes, that it is 3,15,000 megawatt. Right, so around 315 gigawatt. So this is given there. कितना है आपका 315 gigawatt है आपका total installed capacity and 50 gigawatt from the renewable energy. Maximum from wind. How much is that? Now you can say 30, yeah, it was 26 around, but now as we see 5,000 megawatts they were added. So around 32,000 megawatt is the wind installed capacity now. ठीक अभी कितना है 32,000 around. So more than 31,000 and near about 32,000. Then it comes the solar around 9,000. Then the various other.
maximum है वो small hydropower तेरे में नहीं wind maximum है small hydropower मेरे को अच्छा last
Then ultra mega power projects. In ultra mega power projects, just remember what is the definition or what kind of power projects comes. Capacity of 4,000 megawatts or more. Right. So remember this figure only for PT point of view. What is the objective? Because as now power can be generated at large scale, so economies of scale can be achieved. It will help in realizing cheaper tariff as more power can be produced or created at one plant itself. So cheaper tariff utilizing economies of scale, catering to needs of states and to mitigate the risk relating to type of land, fuel and water. So different issues comes when you set up different plants at say, various different places. Instead of that, collectively if one plant is set up, a large plant is set up, all these issues can also be their risk related to those could be mitigated. Special cell companies are set up within Power Finance Corporation for this purpose. Now these 4 UMPPs are there. Remember these: Sassan in MP, Mundra in Gujarat, Krishnapatnam in Andhra and Tilaiya in Jharkhand. So these are at different stages of development. So what are these? Sassan in MP, Mundra in Gujarat, Krishnapatnam in Andhra and Tilaiya in Jharkhand. So what is the capacity for UMPPs? 4,000 megawatts. National grid. Why do we require a national grid? Because it says the resources are distributed very unevenly. At one place we have energy surplus, at one place we have scarcity of energy. Right, so national grid will help in the proper distribution of that our energy resources. There are issues regarding right of way as well, so it will help in creation of high capacity transmission highways so that optimal utilization of unevenly distribution of energy resources can be achieved. So this is the function of national grid. Rural electrification gave certain figure, no need to remember it. You can come directly to the various schemes given in India yearbook. Now those schemes are very old age schemes that are given in yearbook. So I have not incorporated those because very less chances to be asked. And even those schemes, either they have been discontinued or they have been merged into other scheme. So there are no chances for them to be asked. So they had been merged into what? Rajiv Gandhi Gramin Vidyutikaran Yojana. And this scheme itself has been subsumed under Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana. So means our purpose or from our point of view, the Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, this scheme is more important than the other schemes. So now we come to this Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana. This is important. So the objective is 24/7 power to all the rural households and to the agriculture as well. Means to everywhere in the rural there should be 24/7 power, round the clock power. And it says that earlier scheme of Rajiv Gandhi Gramin Vidyutikaran Yojana has been subsumed in the new scheme as its rural electrification component. These are objectives. Provide electrification to all villages, separation of feeder for the households and the for the agriculture separately. Now there are then improvement in the efficiency of sub-transmission and distribution network and metering, smart metering as well, metering of all and also including the smart metering to reduce the losses. Now this is not given there.
So what will happen with feeder separation?
For example, you have same transformer for the households as well as for the agriculture purpose.
So in agriculture, they will need more electricity.
Sorry?
In agriculture, they will need more electricity.
Yes, so there has to be separate feeders for that. Separately for the agriculture, separately for the households.
So AT&C losses are decreased when the feeders are separated.
Yes.
For domestic and commercial users.
One of the thing, dedicated power supply, you got to be assured how much power supply is required for the household, how much for the agriculture. Right. Moreover, it also reduces the losses as well. Moreover, once you have the metering of every, so it will also help in rational usage of the electricity. Otherwise, lot of theft of power happens.
Transmission cost is decreased.
Right. So all these are objectives, very important objectives. Remember all. Electrification to all villages, feeder separation, improvement of sub-transmission distribution network and metering to reduce the loss.
Deadline also the electrification.
Sorry?
2019.
What are you saying?
Deadline for the electrification.
Yeah, there. What is that? 2019 it is.
So it was increased to 22.
Well, I'm not sure about key increase क्या नहीं, but I think 18 or 19 के round तक. You just check this thing, or I think we can look through it. See through what is the year given for.
Sir, previously it was 2016, then it was 2017, now they have said 2018.
18, right?
This budget.
18 years. 18 तक का year. Now come to the next. Next we have Uday. This is also very important scheme. Now you see, first see the benefits. Benefits of Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana. अभी थोड़ा कम कर दो. It's not required even. You reduce the temperature after some time. ठीक है. अभी इतनी जरूरत है भी नहीं. Or you just level it off. Use the fan then. Chalo, just come to the next. Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana. Its benefits we see through it. What would be the benefits if you achieve these targets, these objectives? One thing is every village will be electrified, all the households. Increase in agriculture yield, now separate feeder. Business of small and household enterprises shall grow, resulting into new avenues for employment. Improvement in health, education, banking services. So these are, you can say, benefits coming out of it. May not achieve directly that, right? So you may not just come to these results directly, but these are the benefits. Yes. So the question can come, they can relate it. The benefits of Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana. Potential benefits could be social security due to availability of electricity. See how they have included this point. Accessibility of electricity to schools, panchayats, then comprehensive development of rural areas. Now other policy initiatives, National Electricity Policy, Ultra Mega Power Project Policy, Tariff Policy, New Hydro Policy. Come to there. Now this is another important scheme. That is Ujjwal Discom assurance योजना. बताइए what are the points under that you might have read before?
So in other states will now have to either repay back, like they are not paying that fees for electricity consumption. But now there is binding, like either you would
So
have
it basically comprises the discounts, they are bad loans, or they would be converted into discounts that are not performing well.
Break even in 2 or 3 years by providing them viable finances and loans.
Loans for resolution
ठीक है.
करके equity में finance.
Take over the debt. One thing is,
Yes.
so it will help in reducing the interest cost of the discom, as well as it will also help bringing the financial discipline among them. So one thing is, state will take over the debt, whatever the debt they has been till 2015 year. So their month is given by that year, whatever the debt is, taking 75% of that debt, and also take over whatever the losses comes in the future time by providing the finances. What else is the objective of them? One thing is 24/7 power follow. That is also one of the objective. What else could be there? One thing is, one thing is linked to the power discom companies, their financial discipline and reducing their interest cost. So 2 points are linked to the power discom companies. Thirdly, reducing the cost of generation of power. Fourth, operational efficiency to be enhanced, because why these power companies are in losses. So also eradicating the root cause. Otherwise, after every 10 years, so for again the state have to take the debt. So that won't serve the purpose. Why the losses? Because of operational inefficiency. So to improve the operational efficiency, how to improve the operational efficiency? So again, smart metering, right? Ensuring coal linkage from the domestic coal mines, right? Because that will be cheaper. Moreover, rationalizing the coal linkage program, shifting the coal from the inefficient plants to more efficient plants. So that will help in improving the efficient again operation, then reducing the cost of power generation as well. So all these are points that are included under UDAR. So these are 4 initiatives: improving operational efficiency of discoms, reduction of cost of power, reduction in interest cost of discoms, enforcing financial discipline on discom through alignment with state finances. In detail, if you see operational efficiency, smart metering, upgradation of transformer, meters and all. Reduction cost of power, how? Increased supply of cheaper domestic coal, coal linkage rationalization, liberal coal swaps from inefficient to efficient plants. So all these will help in the reducing the cost of power. And state will take over the future losses, so it will help in reducing the interest cost as well, and also bringing the financial discipline. So these are all about. Then state discom, they will also comply with renewable purchase obligation. Now go through this point. States accepting UDAY and performing as per operation milestone will be given additional priority funding, because center cannot just, you can say, center is not making it obligatory for the states, right? States who want to join it, they will get the benefit, right? The benefit as their state, their electricity scenario would improve in their state's power scenario would improve. Moreover, center will also provide certain incentives, certain benefits. States who are joining, accepting UDAY and performing as per the milestones, they'll get additional priority funding under Gram Jyoti Yojana, IPDS and PSDF or other such schemes. Right? So this is again one of the incentive for the states who are joining or achieving the targets of UDAY. ठीक है, किसके अंदर मिलेगा benefits? Under already existing schemes. The already existing schemes we have in terms of Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, Integrated Power Development Scheme and Power Sector Development Fund. Right, so these are the points linked to UDAY. You see if any other points are missing. So this is how much the debt will be taken over by the states. States shall take over 75% of discom debts as on 30th September 2015. So remember the date as well. So whatever the debt of these power discoms on this date, 30th September 2015, this was to be taken over 2 years, 50% in 15-16 and 25% in 16-17. What is that? How much?
5% 5% in 2016-17, 10% 2017-18, 25%.
Right.
3%.
You're correct about it. This is given in a figure, in a image form. That is not the word. So here it is. So in a graded manner shall fund them as follows. So it says 5% of the losses of 16-17. These are the future losses. Because one of the points under Uday was state will take over future losses as well to bring in the financial discipline. Right. So another point is that now this, as states will take out debt, so their fiscal deficit target could breach, isn't it? So but that won't be counted as a part of the fiscal deficit of the states for giving them various benefits. Are getting this point? When state takes over the debt, it has the potential to increase the fiscal deficit of the states, but that won't be counted by the center because various schemes and benefits are given on the basis of the fiscal performance of the states.
It's a sort of amnesty that is being given to the states. It's a sort of amnesty.
Amnesty is something else. You can say it is exemption given over this particular. It says states shall take over the future losses of discoms in a graded manner and shall fund them as follows. So this is the same point. How the losses would be, future losses would be taken over. So read all the analysis as well. It helps in making the understanding about this Uday scheme. And this scheme can come directly in your mains exam as well. About Uday, its performance, the analysis, discussion, critical analysis, whatever way. Because direct scheme, a few of the direct schemes scheme directly comes. The Fasal Bima Yojana came directly, yes. Right? So it is also a very important scheme. You can see this. Adopting Uday is optional for states, but provides the fastest, most efficient and financially most feasible way of providing 24% power for all. It's a tripartite agreement, also very important, among the Ministry of Power, state government and the discoms. This is a tripartite agreement and optional for the states. But states who join it, they get the additional benefits under the various existing schemes. Right. Tell other certain initiatives under for the power by our Ministry of Power to bring transparency and accountability. I think I discussed it many times when I. GARU application, yes. GVAs. How it is implemented by GVAs. So there is a GARU application. आप explain कीजिए हाँ अमित बताइए अच्छे से. What is this application and how it is to be used? Yes, sir. Ritvik?
Sir, it will provide an all India real time monitoring of.
That is विद्युत प्रवाह.
So the load.
आप क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं?
विद्युत प्रवाह कहना चाह रहे हैं.
ठीक है.
GARU एप्लीकेशन मतलब 1 ग्राम का वो देगा पूरा.
हाँ
So there is a designated person, Abhiyanta, who is related to the power related things, and he'll upload the same on the app. With
exactly.
respect to any
Thing is what government claims we have electrified this much villages, right? But what is the ground reality? Sometimes it is not the reality. So to counter check, to bring the balance, so there will be GVAs, Gramin Vidyutikaran Abhiyanta, from the local community people. They will go, they will verify it. Yes, this much of villages, these much of villages, they have been electrified. And this data, whatever their analysis is, that will be uploaded on the Garu application. And it will be accessible to everybody, every citizen, this Garu application. So you can cross verify the government claims. So it brings the accountability, government accountability in the power sector. And empowers the citizen as well. Is empowerment. You give them more and more information, people can question the government. Ujala, it includes both DLP and street lighting program as well. DLP is what? Domestic efficient lighting program. So one is Ujala, another is Ujwala. Different schemes these are. So see the spelling. One is Ujala. अगर नहीं समझा हिंदी में पढ़ लेना एक बार. Ujala. Yes. Ujwala for LPG and another one same Ujwala for women trafficking as well. ठीक है. So here Ujala, that is for bringing efficiency in the lighting program both at the domestic and the streets. What is DLP? You know about it. You can go and buy the LEDs at the lower cost that is distributed by the government. So encouraging people to use LED bulbs in place of incandescent bulbs, tube lights, CFL, because they're more efficient, long lasting and economical in their life cycle duration. So this is DLP. Same with the government is also encouraging street lights, LED street lights, right? This MCD. Okay, so it's a very big achievement in fact. So you can give these kind of examples if they are. So that is Ujala. And what is Ujwala? For LPG. LPG में क्या होता है? नहीं पहल अलग है वो. Free connections to the BPL households on the name of women. Okay. And how much subsidy is to be given? 1650 exactly. 50 भी है क्या? 1600 I think. इतना तो are you sure? 50 तो चेक करना. मुझे लगता नहीं 50 की फिगर में they bring certain schemes. $1600 है ना? Right. Now there are certain PSUs related to power sector. Just read the name, no need to remember them. So go through them once, otherwise no need to put time on this. NTPC, the same that we had seen in the earlier time. So NTPC, National Hydroelectric Power Corporation, Power Grid Corporation, Power Finance Corporation, Rural Electrification Corporation, Satluj Jal Vidyut Nigam Limited, Bhakra Management Board, National Power Training Institute, Central Power Research Institute, North Eastern Electric Power Corporation. So I just let it go away so that you don't read it even. Just name of the institution, that's it. Now come to the next topic, that is petroleum and natural gas. So we have the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. The objective is exploration and production of oil and natural gas, refining, distribution and marketing, import, export and conservation of petroleum products. Urja Sangam. What is Urja Sangam? This is important, remember, for PT. It was a global hydrocarbon meet that was held in Delhi in 2015. So whenever any kind of these meet happens, one thing is it showcases India's potential in hydrocarbon sector and also encourage the investment So create an investor friendly atmosphere, and in the way of energy security platform, because these kind of platform, it encourages more and more investment in power sector, and when it happens, it helps in ensuring energy security for our nation. So kind of energy security platform it is. That is Urja Sangam. Ensuring energy security. There are certain reforms in oil and natural gas. There is one HELP, help, hydrocarbon exploration licensing policy. So earlier it was NELP, now it is HELP, help. Go through the provisions of HELP. Even these, the provisions above given are provisions of HELP. In fact, you can see marketing and pricing freedom. Read all these points. These are in fact points linked to HELP. Marketing and pricing freedom, permitting exploration throughout the contract period, single licensing for exploration. Single licensing means for every kind of the, say, gas, oil, like every kind of the hydrocarbon. Otherwise, there were separate licenses, separate for the oil, separate for the gas. Yes. Then adopting a simple and easy to administer revenue sharing model. Earlier it was profit sharing, now it is revenue sharing. In the line of minimum government and maximum governance and ease of doing business.
Also GPS based data to national data.
Okay, so these are points linked to health. So HELP is also important for both PT and mains. Maybe the question doesn't come directly in mains, but if some question comes regarding energy security or linked to the oil and gas, their status in India and mechanism, any policy initiative. Let's see, go through the points of HELP.
So HELP 3.
These are the points: hydrocarbon and licensing policy, HELP. So uniform license for exploration and production of all form of hydrocarbons, open access policy, revenue sharing model, marketing and pricing freedom. Read them again in the detail. Uniform policy for every kind of the hydrocarbon. Open access means throughout the year the company that can select the exploration blocks. Right?
Throughout the year
They can go for the selection of the blocks, which blocks they want to explore. You can read it even. Hydrocarbon company to select the exploration blocks throughout the year without waiting for formal bid from the government. So at any time they can start the exploration, select the exploration blocks. Revenue sharing model in place of production sharing contract, and this production sharing contract was based on the sharing of profits. Marketing and pricing freedom. So government policy of minimum government, maximum governance is to be realized by this graded system of royalty. So these are difference are given. Here revenue sharing, in NELP you have profit sharing. Cost efficiency is encouraged, kind of neutral it is. Royalty low rates for offshore. In management committee, more focus on reservoir monitoring, no micromanagement. Initially it was micromanagement. So here more autonomy is given, more independence is given to the companies. Revenue to the government on production itself, because it's revenue. What are the revenues coming, that will be shared between the government and the company, right? So once the production starts, revenue starts coming to the government. Whereas in case of earlier time, profit, when the profit occurs after the company starts breaking, right? After the break-in period only the profit starts. So it takes some time after recovering of the cost. That's all. So go through the points again. Remember these. बताइए क्या points है अभिषेक?
So there is a open acreage policy, then there is a uniform license, then there is a marketing reforms, then there are pricing reforms.
Exactly बताइए क्या क्या points हैं?
Revenue sharing model.
Yes, yes, revenue sharing.
Revenue sharing model. Now come to next, crude oil and natural gas production. It says decline in onshore production from old and aging plants, not so important. Why it happened is just given that. Even you can skip this part. It discussed that the production was affected mainly due to decline in onshore production from old and aging feed plants and operation problems, and prolonged bunds and blockades in Assam. Import of crude oil. It says increase of 5% around of quantity terms and 14% decrease in value terms. Suppose the question come directly as per statement in PT. How this is happening? This is the statement. The import of crude oil during this period increase of 5% in quantity terms and 41% decrease in value terms.
Crude oil.
Yes, yes. The prices, the international prices have declined, so the value has declined. So in terms of value, the import has declined. The same way, in terms of value, that's why the export was declining, because a major chunk of export was on the refinery products. So there, as part of value, our exports declined.
So moreover, when this crude oil, Brent oil comes, it goes into the refinery, and when the final products come, the value gets depreciated.
What?
This crude oil, when the final resultant products are, they come in the market. So there is this year there was a trend. The value was decreased.
Why the value was decreased? Because initially the raw material was of the low value, isn't it? When the raw material is of declining value, the final good will also be of the commodity will also be of low value. The same thing is given. Why it is so? Weakening of demands. Why the fall in oil prices, international oil prices, weakening of demand. We know about it because of then especially in Asia, China, Europe, production glut, exploration of shale gas. These alternative fuels also reduce demand from the countries like US and Canada. FDI 49% foreign equity under automatic route. That's it. PSU, Petroleum Sector, ONGC, Oil India, GAIL, Indian Oil Corporation. Just read the name itself. That's it. What all are the PSUs in petroleum sector? Else no need to give much time on this. Come to coal. हाँ वो exactly one PSU बनाएंगे तो आपको याद भी नहीं करना पड़ेगा ज़्यादा, right? Ministry of Coal. How much is coal reserve? It says around 300 billion tons by Geological Survey of India. In these states, maximum coal reserves are found. For PT, remember these: Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, and Madhya Pradesh. You also need to locate what places in these states are important for the coals. So both for the coal reserves and their mining as well. So read the names again. Yes, Kushagar, what are the states for?
Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh.
ठीक है. Jharkhand, yeah.
झारखंड में केरल आ रहा हूँ, उड़ीसा में कोरापुट कह रहा हूँ,
कोकराझार,
छत्तीसगढ़
तमिलनाडु में आपका ये लिग्नाइट रिजर्व लिग्नाइट आता है ना आपका, इन्होंने लिग्नाइट के लिए अलग से दिया हुआ है. इन लिग्नाइट रिजर्व says 44 billion tons, Tamil Nadu, then Rajasthan, Gujarat, Kerala, West Bengal, and Jammu and Kashmir. So these are states for lignite.
Lignite 30% of farmer.
So Kavi, what you're doing? You're typing these things. You're typing these things. So these are already with you. You can access. Why you're doing the duplication of work? Means again typing these. It means these are available. It's accessible to you, one note. If something you find irrelevant, you just delete from that. So this is in fact to make your work simple. not to make it complicated. So what are the lignite reserves? Where these are, Vibhu?
Sir, Tamil Nadu, Neyveli, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Kerala.
ठीक है. Now, coal production states we have seen growth of 9% from 2014-15 level. So this is also very good achievement for our power plants as well as for our coal production potential as well. How much we are utilizing our potential. Because at one time around a couple of years ago there was a huge shortage in the coal production. There was, if you remember, certain time the strike of the employees of the Coal India Limited. It led to, in fact, shortage in our thermal power production.
And
Supreme Court.
That is
Supreme Court orders also that
We don't have high quality coal.
yes.
But now we have
So once this coal, what is the problem in our coal?
sir, high ash.
High ash content, high fly ash content, right? What is the policy of the government?
To use it in
100% in a phased manner, 100% to be used. In what? Where? In what? Construction, building materials.
Agriculture.
Right. ठीक है. So come to next. PSUs there. CIL, Neyveli Lignite Corporation Limited. Then come to new and renewable energy. We have this ministry, separate ministry. Now, initiatives. This mission, National Solar Mission, targets of solar mission. Yes, Amit. 100 क्या?
100 gigawatt.
हाँ बताइए, पूरा बताइए ना. 100 क्या? 100 gigawatts by 2022. बहुत अच्छे. Okay, what other targets of other renewable energy targets?
160 of wind, then hydro. Yes, hydro.
10 किसका है? 100 for solar, 60 for wind, 10 for
No, bio 5.
10 for
small hydro.
biogas, 5 for small.
5 for small.
Correct. 10 for biomass and 5 for small hydro. सिंपल ध्यान रखो, स्मॉल हाइड्रो स्मॉल आया है वर्ड साथ में, तो सबसे कम होगा इसका, तो 5 है इसका. ठीक है. 100, 6 सारे gigawatts, all are in gigawatts. 100 gigawatt for solar, 60 gigawatt for wind, and 10 gigawatt for biomass, and 5 gigawatt for small hydro. And what is the present installed capacity in the top two? For solar, sorry, for wind we have around 32 gigawatt, right? For wind, for solar we have around 9 gigawatt.
9 gigawatt.
ठीक है. Now, then renewable energy certificates for creation of pan-India renewable energy market, solar specific purchase obligation. And these are the coordinated research and development and activities in solar, photovoltaic power and thermal. Second generation biofuels, what are these? Second generation biofuels.
So first generation is based on food
So
production.
second other agricultural
non-agricultural crops and on development
like the
based land.
bagasse, rice straw, parallel type.
Biotechnology.
Third generation is a non-agricultural or second generation?
No,
Second, sir, जो agriculture बच जाता है. Parali and rice straw.
Whatever the waste that is left after the food crops, you harvest
India's
them.
first bioethanol plant.
Right. So initially it was from the, what are the food crops you have, that is the first generation biofuel. So you generate ethanol from those. Now second generation biofuel we generate from the, say, bamboo, even rice straw. So whatever is the known food crop
Farmer.
that is not used, because using the food crops, it could hamper our food security even.
Now the farmer is running out of it, sir.
सर हमने क्लासिफाई ऐसे कर रखा है कार्बन पॉजिटिव एनर्जी नेगेटिव, मतलब जितनी
Explain करिए जरा.
एनर्जी दे रहे हैं उनको प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए, उससे कम एनर्जी को हम हमें दे पा रहे हैं आफ्टर यूटिलाइजेशन. तो ऐसे फर्स्ट जनरेशन जो है दे आर एनर्जी नेगेटिव एंड कार्बन पॉजिटिव. देन सेकंड जनरेशन आर एनर्जी न्यूट्रल एंड कार्बन पॉजिटिव. थर्ड जनरेशन आर कार्बन नेगेटिव carbon negative and energy positive मतलब फिर किस तरह से I'm not recalling what exactly. Good job.
Okay, fine. Now coming to next, core drivers for development.
Sir, fourth generation में sir वो they store carbon है sir.
They store carbon.
Sir वो
Carbon sequestration.
सर वो कार्बन उसे वो मिला
Sequestration.
था अपना सर जापान में
Carbon
मिला था
sequestration.
सर वो सब्सटेंस मिला था उसका नाम क्या था टेट्राहाइड्रेट
I don't remember. Now, core drivers for development of renewable energy. For what regard this is important? For energy security, for electricity shortage, energy access, climate change. So just read the headings. You can easily come to know. Then renewable energy potential. How much is the potential? Remember this as well. Last year they have directly asked in mains exam the status of renewable energy in India. Directly पूछा तो क्या क्या लिखना है, क्या भी कितना है, what is the target and what is the potential. So that requires data to substantiate your answer. Otherwise it will be just only certain analysis. That's it. Now what the potential is of renewable energy? 900 gigawatt. Wind 102 gigawatt if mast height is 80 meters. Whereas this Institute of Wind Energy, using the advanced techniques, it says 300 gigawatts even if mast height at 100 meters. So use this present modified technique data of National Institute of Wind Energy. So how much is potential for wind energy? 300 gigawatt. How much do we have now? Around 32 gigawatt. See the potential to increase the wind energy. Right? Yes. Exactly. So 10 times. See, you can analyze it. So we can increase our present wind installed capacity to 10 times. In solar, 750 gigawatt solar power, right? So all these are. This is potential. कितना हम कर सकते हैं? Now highest energy potential for wind it is Gujarat, small hydro Karnataka, bioenergy Punjab, solar Rajasthan. For certain schemes, Solar Energy Corporation of India and intrastate transmission system, grid connected rooftop and small solar power plants, grid connected solar photovoltaic power projects 500 megawatt. So National Biomass Cook Stoves Initiative, Solar Cities program. Regarding solar you have solar cities, solar parks. So different initiatives you have. Graha, what is Graha? Graha rating system to encourage efficient and solar green buildings.
So that was methane hydrate.
What?
That contains carbon, lots of energy. Methane hydrate. Methane hydrate. Japan
Gas hydrates.
Extracting.
Gas hydrates you're talking about.
Sir, it's a solid crystal structure. Japan is extracting them.
Even in West Bengal it has been found. Last there was a study in West Bengal, a huge stock of gas hydrates. What are gas hydrates?
Sir, Andhra mein
Pelagic deposits under ocean.
Right.
gas
So they are found on the oceanic sediments, continental shelf as well. Right. So crystal. So they are even on the polar side. You can see on the where ice crystals. Yes.
So wind energy potential and existing को मीटर रेंज कितना भी बताना पड़ेगा 80 मीटर रेंज पे कितना है और 100
हाँ exactly हाँ because there are difference in the potential. At 80 meter is different potential, 100 meter is different potential. So you specify whatever figure you write, you specify, right? So you just remember 100 meter potential is 300, around 300 it is. So you can remember estimated figure 10 times you can increase. So revise this chapter, go through the points again.
So now all the schemes have been covered under this Gram Jyoti Yojana,
The earlier schemes, they were subsumed or they were either they were discontinued or they were integrated into Rajiv Gandhi Gramin Vidyutikaran, and that has been subsumed under Gram Jyoti Yojana. So ultimately तो वही हो गया सारा.
आपके पास 15 का वो है
Yearbook?
PDF है
No.
only 16
16 का. So regarding Gas Authority of India, so the gas network, the pipeline network. So one of the major work of GAIL is building the pipeline network. How much is existing? You can have this data. (10,000 kilometers around) is the existing GAIL pipeline network. Total pipeline network around 15,000 kilometers. So these are different organizations working on that. ONGC, Indian Oil, and target is to reach is to 30,000 kilometers for our gas pipeline. अभी कितना existing? Around more than 15,000 kilometers. More than 15. अभी ज़्यादा हो गया होगा उससे. And target is to make it to 30,000 kilometers. You revise from your yearbook. Don't sit idle. So even this Renewable Energy Global Investors Meet and Expo, Reinvest 2015. So first, Renewable Energy Global Investors Meet. So Reinvest, it is known by that name. Okay, how much is total installed capacity? Total
300.
कितना?
3,15,000.
ठीक है, 3,15,000.
और with 50 is solar.
ठीक है, 50 is
renewable.
ठीक है, and again divide them.
22,000 wind. 9 of solar.
UMPP
4,000 megawatts.
4,000 megawatts.
Sasan, Mundra, Krishnapatnam.
अरे वाह बेहतरीन. Sasan, MP, Mundra, Krishnapatnam, and Tilaiya. National Grid. So we have Power Grid Corporation of India Limited. Why do we require it? Uneven distribution of energy resources are there for that, and right of way issue. Then different schemes. They were either a few of them discontinued, and they were rest into Rajiv Gandhi Gramin Vidyutikaran Yojana, and now that scheme has been subsumed under Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana. Objective क्या है कुशागर?
So Deen Dayal का separation of feeder lines.
First is 24/7 power कि सबको बिजली दी जाएगी in all the rural areas.
Separation of feeder lines, efficiency and sub transmission distribution
and metering. Right. So all these benefits, go through them again. These are initiated. Uday के बारे में बताइए. Important, very important scheme it is. From these two schemes, one of the scheme can be asked. Very important, prominent question. Kavi, Uday.
24% electricity, sir. Distribution companies, they were in loss. So the center will take over.
Center नहीं करेगा. State government.
वो भी optional.
ठीक है, state government will take over the losses.
The losses and the
And how much of the debt? Losses तो लेगा, the future losses will be taken over in a phased manner. ठीक है. Exactly. The debt as on September 2015.
30th September 2015.
Right. So as on 30th September 15, the debt were to be taken by the state government. How much? अब बताइए. 75%, 50% तो उसी साल है, 25% है पहले. Well, 50%, 50 and then 25 next year.
There's a provision of RPO.
क्या करें?
Renewable RPO वाला provision.
Repurchase obligation. कि आपको लेना पड़ेगा इतना परचेज जो आपको रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी भी लेना पड़ेगा, ऐसा नहीं है, जस्ट कीप ऑन. ठीक है. What other points under Uday?
Sir, increasing operational efficiency, reducing the cost of power, reducing the cost of interest cost.
Very good.
Financial discipline.
Financial discipline. So these are four ways how the overall objectives would be achieved. Right. So you can bring the points under those separately points. ठीक है. How the financial discipline, as the state will take over the future losses in a phased manner. Now more and more financial discipline will also be introduced. Reducing cost of interest, because debt is taken over, because as there was more and more debt, more and more interest was to be given by the discom companies. Then operational efficiency, smart metering and all these things. Reducing cost of power, how this is to be achieved?
Coal linkages.
Yes.
Cheaper domestic coal.
Yes, linkage to cheaper domestic coal. What?
Sir, swapping liberal coal swaps.
Yes, swapping liberal coal swaps. So that's all. Urja Sangam, and there was reinvest, renewable energy invest meet. Energy security, HELP, points of help, HELP. बताइए क्या करें? Open acreage means?
Throughout the year, any block you can choose and start.
Yes.
There is no need for official.
Right, right.
Then revenue sharing model.
Revenue sharing, बहुत अच्छा.
Uniform licensing.
Uniform licensing, very good. So these are major points of HELP. You can write now. Very good answer. Even if the question comes on hydrocarbon, it is very, you can say, latest policy and very prominent policy of the government. That's all. Now come to next chapter number 14, that is corporate affairs. So we have Ministry of Corporate Affairs, MCA. Okay. Now we have Companies Act 2013. So the earlier act, now this new act was brought, Companies Act 2013. Earlier act they were kept on amendment, and finally new act, Companies Act 2013. Basic objective of Companies Act, okay, where it can be used either in your mains exam or finally in your ethics paper as well. Corporate governance is part of your yes CSR as well. So it is tried to strengthen corporate governance. Companies Act 2013. It has tried to safeguard the interest of the small shareholders, bring more accountability, transparency, use of more and more technology, more disclosure, bringing the independent directors as well, right? The committees, audit committee separately, different committees including audit committee also. So there were, the thing is what, more transparency. Why the need was arised? Because we had seen Satyam kind of the frauds, Satyam case that happened, right? So that brought into light, that bring the focus of the requirement of more transparency in the private sector and to strengthen the corporate governance. So this act was to be, yes?
There is also in linkage with the global standards like the
Yes, exactly, yes, exactly. So the functioning to be brought in line with the global standards, international standards, that to be incorporated. We see through them one by one. Just overall objective is this one that you can understand. Business friendly corporate regulation, pro business initiatives. Self-regulation, automation, so means more and more automation of the various meetings. NCLT as well, National Company Law Tribunal, even SFIOs, uh,
A special
Special
fraud investigation.
Investigation Office under MCA, that was given the statutory status.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Oh,
Okay.
tomorrow is a-
So I think you won't be able to see the screen, but so you have the yearbook with you.
Yes.
Right. So the points are given there. You can keep on referring to that. Then second point is regarding good corporate governance and CSR, corporate social responsibilities, independent directors, several committees of board like audit committee, women director as well for certain class of companies. Even SEBI put a norm, if you remember, about 2 years ago.
Women should have
Yes,
actually directors.
yes. A certain percentage of the independent directors should be the women. Yes, but we had seen the companies had not been able to comply to this regulation even. So you can use these kind of examples somewhere. Accountability of management. So responsibility of key functionaries of the company was fixed. Strengthening enforcement. SFIO given statutory recognition, special courts, audit accountability. Then regarding investor, you have Investor Education Protection Fund, IEPF. So no need to cram each and everything, just make understanding what kind of the certain reforms were brought by Companies Act 2013. Then Companies Amendment Act 2015. So further facilitate ease of doing business. So what were the provision? Doing away with minimum paid up share capital. This was certain of the provision. Then Companies Amendment Bill 2016 came. So this earlier act was amended in relation to structuring, disclosure and compliance requirement. The act limits the number of intermediary companies through which investment can be made. These were certain restrictions. All these restrictions, they were removed by this bill. Companies Amendment Bill 2016. Even the bill also require a group of person who exercise beneficial control about 25% in company to disclose such interest. Earlier, this anybody who has interest in the company has to disclose, right? So again, this is the one of the relaxation regarding certain things. So these a few of the provisions you remember because it's one of the recent bills, so you should remember it. So we just go through this Companies Amendment Bill 2016 again, see what have been done. And this bill, certain limits were there, they have been removed. What those limits have been in the earlier act? Limits regarding number of intermediary companies through which investment can be made. Another limit was structuring and disclosure, compliance requirement, and number of layer of subsidiaries. How many companies, how many subsidiaries a company can have. So there was limit on the number of those subsidiaries. So those limits, they have been removed by the bill. And earlier, any individual who has a beneficial interest in the share of company, they had to be disclosed, but now 25%. Even in the act, it was member of the level of joint secretary to the quasi judicial tribunal. Now it is additional secretary. Other steps: NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal, National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, special courts. Then Competition Act 2002. So Competition Commission of India, it was established under the act. So Competition Commission of India is a statutory body. And what about NCLT? Is it a statutory, constitutional, non-constitutional? NCLT. अभी बताया ना, Companies Act 2013 के अंदर it has been given a statutory recognition. It was not established as a statutory, but it was given statutory recognition under this Companies Act. Then Competition Appellate Tribunal is also there. Then SFIO, Special Fraud Investigation Office under MCA. So remember, this office is under MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So what kind of frauds are being investigated? Complex nature, or where it requires interdepartmental coordination, multidisciplinary ramification which has. So any of the fraud that is complex in nature or could have the repercussion across the departments, interdisciplinary ramification could be there, and substantial involvement of public interest. So it's given, SFIU has been given statutory recognition under Companies Act. MCA 21, Ministry of Corporate Affairs e-governance project. So basically, what the purpose is to introduce service-oriented approach in the design and delivery of government services. So service-centric approach in the delivery of public services and administration Companies Act. So end-to-end e-governance project called MCA 21, and it was used even while making more comprehensive data of the corporate affairs. Last time when this CSO revised its way methodology to calculate the GDP, so it increased automatically just about 1 or 2 points, right? And people started questioning how, because it was not in line with the IAP production data, so there was certain hue and cry over this. So what were the major changes that CSO brought it in its methodology?
Base year
was changed. What else?
2011. Weightage.
Yes, more comprehensive data of the corporate affair was included by using this MCA 21.
So why is it called MCA?
Ministry of Corporate Affairs, MCA.
21?
Maybe is it 21? Okay, maybe for that purpose. Yes.
So it's a program.
Yes, exactly. It's a program by MCA, e-governance program. Other initiatives: launch of single integrated incorporation form and investor education protection fund. Yes, there's nothing much in this chapter. Other initiative.
This fund would be maintained with which authority, like SEBI or RBI?
You read through it if it's given there. Let's see.
SEBI, it goes with SEBI.
This education protection fund, huh?
Yes, sir.
It's given there.
No, I know.
Okay. So investor education protection fund, IEPF.
So it is maintained by SEBI, but the proceed will go to that consolidated fund of India. SEBI monitors it. Because it also includes all the dividend not being collected by the companies, which have been declared but not been collected for 7 years. It goes to over there. So that data, dividend data, is with SEBI. Later on, it is transferred to this consolidated.
Okay, that's all from this chapter. Corporate affairs. Just revise what is to revise. You can just leave many of the things. What you can see: Companies Act 2013, Companies Amendment Act, and finally Companies Amendment Bill 2016. So those provisions you need to remember. Other things you can leave. SFIU you can see through. Certain that awareness fund, information awareness fund, that education awareness fund. That also you can remember. Less you can leave. So revise it right now, then we go to the next chapter. We come to the next chapter, food and civil supplies, chapter number 15. Food and civil supplies. So there is Department of, come to food and civil supplies. There is Department of Food and Public Distribution. It is responsible for management of food economy and food security of the nation. The major instruments: procurement, storage, movement of food, grains, public distribution, and maintenance of buffer stock. So these are the instruments by which the major objective is achieved by the department. So what it does: procurement, storage and movement of food, grains, PD, public distribution, buffer stock. Now see the procurement of food grains. So done by FCI autonomous organization under the department, procure wheat, paddy, coarse grains in various states in order to provide price support to the farmers. So you know about at MSP it procures and in a way to provide support to the farmers. Then how the MSP is determined? Again on the recommendation of CACP. Who does? The government does. Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. So it says before each Rabi and Kharif crop season, Government of India announces the MSP. So before the season, in advance, the government tells the farmers this will be the MSP. And how CACP comes to this data? Various inputs it takes, right? From the various agriculture inputs, even what? Yes, in agriculture chapter was given. It also take into consideration of state governments, industry, every other level it takes the data. The cost of production of the farmers, each and everything.
Important point है ना land वगैरह भी कुछ देखना है उसमें important point था land वगैरह भी तीन चीज important
Why are you feeling lazy about it? Open it.
ये है ना डिमांड डिमांड सप्लाई एंड प्रोडक्शन प्राइस ट्रेड एंड terms of trade between agriculture and the sector, like irrigation of natural renewables, decide ensuring optimal utilization of natural resources.
the
Optimum utilization of the resources. Right. So CACP takes into consideration various inputs from the various sources, and finally come to the recommendation of MSP, and then depends on the government to bring into effect that MSP. Then it says state governments, they are encouraged to adopt decentralized procurement. Decentralized procurement, so from the state government themselves, rather than FCI to do its part. So how this decentralized procurement will help? It will help in maximizing the procurement, reduce transportation, and increase the reach of MSP operation. So state government, they undertake procurement and distribution of food grains by themselves. So means instead of FCI they having the centralized procurement depots at different places of country, states taking this part by themselves, right? Then what is other proposed, that in case any state they procure more than the requirement, then they are taken into the central pool for the distribution somewhere else. Then it gives the data that the accumulated central pool stock of food grains that reached a record level of 805 lakh tons in 2002 against a buffer stock norm of 319 lakh tons. So even you can remember that just this data, or in your mind, that the buffer, the actual procurement, the level of the stocks with FCI, that is even more than double of the buffer stock requirements. So over flooded godowns we have, and still you can find people just dying because of poverty, because of the hunger and all. Yes, starvation. Yeah. शांता कुमार. So Shanta Kumar committee. वो उसके लिए फिशिंग के लिए था. So Shanta Kumar committee gave the recommendation to bring reforms in FCI and regarding the MSP as well. So
there is a scheme also, no, scientific storage.
What is that?
Scientific
Village Grain Bank. Scientific. So that is to strengthen the our warehouse system, right? Scientific storage. What is that? Gramin.
In it, we will use the scientific knowledge like advancement. We will take the help of technology and all instead of going through the conventional ways of saving.
Okay.
So that we can.
Right. So because a huge amount of food grains that are rotten away are destroyed, even at one time Supreme Court take cognizance of this, that instead of why don't we distribute it to the poor instead of being rotten or wasted in our godowns. So Shanta Kumar committee recommended what?
FCI should be government should be doing this thing.
It said one thing is regarding procurement, it should only retain the buffer stock, right? End-to-end computerization from starting from the procurement to storage to distribution. At every level, it should be computerized so that leakages can be plugged. So its its recommendation was more in the way of FCI. In fact, its scope could be curtailed. In fact, in the coming years. So as we have seen, our buffer stocks, even our our food grain stocks in FCI, they are much more than the buffer stock requirement, around somewhere more than double. So we need a balanced approach. How much is to be procured? So it says a balanced policy approach for procurement, distribution, disposal of food grains, an adequate price support to farmers, and all this. Then discuss about the various the how much in the figure it shows production of wheat and rice. Food grain in central pool. Come to the next. National Food Security Act. Objective: food and nutrition security. How much? So food and nutrition security at affordable prices by providing food grains at the affordable prices. What proportion of population to be covered? 75%. So in total it comes to be around. Yeah, exactly. So around 2/3 it comes. Yes. Yeah. So 2/3 it comes to be the population that of total population to be covered. It says Antyodaya Anna Yojana will still continue. What is Antyodaya Anna Yojana? Poorest of poor. Exactly. 35 kg of food grains per household per month. So grievance redressal mechanism, transparency and accountability. That says NSFA is implemented in 34 states UTs and in certain states, in certain UTs basically, like Chandigarh, Puducherry and Dadra Nagar Haveli. This is done in terms of cash transfer mode, DBT. So that's all from this Food Security Act. Then Antyodaya Anna Yojana, again this scheme is given only this point. End-to-end computerization of TPDS. So targeted public distribution system, end-to-end. Digitization.
Anna Yojana in retail life is 35 kg. So regardless of number of people in the family, it would be only 35
yeah, per household it says.
And in BPL there would be 5 kg per person.
Sorry?
In BPL it would be 5 kg per person.
किस लेवल पर इसी स्कीम के अंदर आप कह रहे हैं?
In National Food Security. So BPL will get 5 kg grain per person.
Right.
And this ultra poor they will get 35 kg.
Right.
So household, I mean, there can be like 5 to
yeah,
6 people.
I understand your I understand your concern, but this is the scheme. It is. These are the provisions. So end-to-end computerization of TPDS. So end-to-end means initially who will be the beneficiaries, their digitization of the beneficiaries, how it could be done. So you can say using the Aadhaar and computerization of supply chain management, setting of grievance redressal and all. Then there is Khadya Suraksha. Khadya Suraksha, it's quarterly newsletter to share the initiatives and best practices. So, in every 3 months, there will be newsletters to share the initiatives and best practices, as well as latest development and achievements. That is Khadya Suraksha. Come to next, midday meal scheme. So it's scheme of MHRD. Objective, enrollment, retention, attendance, and nutrition level among the students of class 1st to 8th. Exactly. अब schemes बहुत सारी repeat होंगी in different ministries. They are involved. So which level? Which school? 1st to 8th. So means primary and upper primary level means still elementary education. So it says till 15-16 it was given at BPL rates. Now it is given at NFSA rate by Department of Food and Public Distribution. Come to next.
So what is NFSA?
Wheat-based nutrition program. Again, wheat-based nutrition program, it is based over ICDS. So food grains to be given to states and UTs under ICDS for providing nutrition energy food to children below 6 years of age and expectant lactating women. So ICDS basically, you see, above age of 6 level, you have midday meal scheme. So for below 6 level, you have ICDS. And it is very important whenever we talk about the say health of any of the children or say students who go to the schools. It depends upon how the nutrition level they have received in the first 6 years, right? So 0 to 6 years is very important, as what are the nutrition they will get. It will decide their performance in the future. What kind of human they will be. Yes, 1000 years, 1000 days. Yeah. So last year, that economic survey said that first 1000 days are very important, most crucial for the physical and cognitive development of any human being. Because whatever the nutrition they'll get in these first 1000 days, it will cast shadow for their whole life.
3 years.
3 years. So for that purpose, what do we have? So at one time, even when you talk about say regarding education, how to improve education outcomes. So even we cannot neglect 0 to 6 years. We cannot start just from after the children come to school. We have to start from the basic level, starting level, because their performance will depend upon what kind of nutrition they have received in the first 6 years. Yes, exactly. Physical and cognitive development will depend on that.
It is scientific, 95% of brain develops by the age.
Exactly. So for that purpose, we have ICDS, and we need to strengthen more this ICDS component. Then there is Sabla, Rajiv Gandhi Scheme for Empowerment of Adults and Girls. So you can remember a few points: 11 to 18 years, empowering adults and girls of 11 to 18 years. Nutrition, health status, and upgrading various skills. So not only the nutrition, but also skills as well: life skills, home skills, family welfare, health hygiene. Also mainstreaming out of school girls into formal and non-formal education. 100 grams of grains per beneficiary per day for 300 days in a year. Now we have, what other scheme do we have for adolescents? Yes. Now this Sabla is old scheme. I remember the new scheme as well for adolescents. किशोर स्वास्थ्य कार्यक्रम, राष्ट्रीय किशोर स्वास्थ्य कार्यक्रम.
And so there is one more scheme initiated in Jharkhand by World Bank. This is the first exclusive adolescent palliative scheme.
Recently it is. Check this. Yes, Kavi, you're doing a lot of things on internet. Do it. So why to focus on adolescent?
They just winning.
They're just winning. Tejaswini 4, read it.
Socio-economic empowerment of adults and girls and young women in the age bracket of 14 and 24. In the age bracket of 14 and 24, socio-economic development and empowerment of young women.
Of the women. Age of
14 to 24.
14 to, okay, 14 to 20, 21, 24. That is Tejaswini in Jharkhand. So why there is need to focus on the adolescent? Why there should be separate initiatives and focus on that?
Because the requirements of the adolescent is different from where you are.
Exactly. And even this adolescent, lot of changes happens in this age. Hormonal changes, biological changes, lot of changes happens, emotion changes. So this is very important, we can say, is where they require special focus from the government, more awareness, more education, kind of nutrition they will receive, moreover kind of awareness and education they have, because this, as in the future, what kind of human being they will be, the person they would be, depends on adolescent education. And if you really want to realize our demographic potential, how we can achieve this? If that adolescent, they are well educated, right? They are well skilled and healthy as well. Unless they're healthy, their productivity won't be up to mark, and it will be in fact a deterrent to realize our demographic dividend.
And sir, it has cumulative impact also, because an educated adult
Right.
gives better care to child.
So vicious cycle it becomes if malnourished woman gives birth to. So there are a lot of chances. In India, we have high anemic cases, high anemic women we have, and when they gain pregnancy, they have very low weight. Even during pregnancy, they don't gain much of the weight, leading to malnourished child. And when this malnourished child is a girl, then the tragedy starts from there. Kind of the scenario she faces in the household, difference in the kind of nutrition that the girl get in respect to the brother, her siblings.
It's striking to know that the average Indian girl's weight is lesser than the African weight.
So you can see how much exactly. Yeah. And this discrimination keeps on going, keeps on accumulating. When this discrimination accrues over, she remains malnourished. She has to do the certain household work as well, has to take care of her other siblings, right? Maybe she goes to school or she doesn't go to school, right? Very less chances again. If she goes to school, drops out early because of again discrimination within the school itself. No separate toilets, far away from the school, far away from the village and all. So again a malnourished adolescent, and finally malnourished baby again. Adolescent, early marriage, so early pregnancy, malnourished again child. Scheme for supply of food grains to welfare institutions, to beggar homes, Nari Niketans at TPDS, which are not covered under TPDS. So they receive food grains. Then food grains for SC, ST, OBC hostels. You can leave it. Annapurna scheme. What is this Annapurna scheme? By Rural Development Ministry it is. So senior citizens of 65 years of age or above. That is reduced to 60 years, I think. Or there was certain change in the components. I'm not sure they have deleted the data or not. I will check it. 60. See, we have National Social Assistance Program, NSAP. Under this program, we have Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme, and the eligibility limit is 60 years, 60 years or above. And whosoever those senior citizens who have been left out, though they are eligible for this pension, but they are not receiving this pension because of any of the reason, so those people, they can receive this much amount of food grains. So once the eligibility condition for pension scheme is 60 years, so I think the same should follow here, the same age here as well.
So if they are getting Annapurna scheme benefit, then do they get food security admin food also? If someone is getting Annapurna scheme benefit, then maybe then will she or he get that?
I don't think so. It will be.
Also, but this has been a problem by NITI Aayog. There are single families. There is a doubling of these schemes.
Yeah, so they are saying it's a problem as per the provisions that should not be. I think we are highlighting it as
single families is a beneficiary of multiple schemes. Which actually it has to be at least single scheme.
Then I think you have to check it again then. Keep on skipping certain topics. Then open market sale. Why there is requirement for open market sale? Because we don't want FCI to procure more and more, stock more and more, right? What kind of procurement policy our FCI follows? Open procurement. What is open procurement?
Is willing to buy.
Yes, FCI follows open procurement policy. Open procurement means whatever amount of food grains you bring to FCI, they have to procure it. It's obligation on them. So it's open procurement. So open market sales scheme. So purpose is whatever excess stock under central pool that is. So to sell that under open procurement policy. Because whenever excess stock is there with the procurement organization, that is FCI, it keeps on accumulating higher procurement. So there is cost attached to it, carrying cost attached to it, the maintenance of that. So instead of carrying along with it, there should be procurement, means open market sale of those grains that have been procured by FCI. So it helps in the, you can say, at times of whenever there is inflation, it helps in stabilizing the prices as well. It also helps supporting the farmers also, because it can further procure more and more food grains from the farmers. Then regarding storage of food grains, we have Warehousing Development and Regulatory Authority. So this authority, so the purpose is growth and development of warehousing sector, because issues had been regarding the storage facilities in our country. State of the art, we need storage facilities. It says why do we need to encourage more and more, say, warehousing and encourage farmers to go to the warehouses and store their food grains? One of the purposes to have the food grains throughout the year. Secondly, to help the farmers from the distress sale. Why? Because otherwise, if the farmers, they won't have, first thing is small and marginal farmers, they get exploited everywhere. They don't get the actual prices prevalent in the market. So now they don't have money as well, as the next cycle has started. So they have to again invest into the sowing of next crops and all. So they need some money, right? If there are no warehousing, no support from the government, they have to sell it at any of the prices, even at the very low prices. So it's a distress sale. They are compelled to sell because of the conditions, existing prevalent conditions. So there is scheme attached to NWR, that is negotiable warehouse receipts.
सर यहाँ पे वो भी पॉइंट आना चाहिए ना कि मंडी ज़्यादा एक सिंगल स्पेसिफिक पॉइंट ऑफ सेल.
Right. Under APMC you are saying. Right. Exactly. So one of the point is that one that you can bring as a reform, that regarding unified ENAM.
APMC mandi.
Even in the existing framework, one of the point is regarding NWR, negotiable warehouse receipts. So once they say, you can say, once they store their food grains or their grains with the warehouse, they get the NWR in return, and the government has provided, say, cheaper loans to the farmers against those NWRs.
So this is like a stock, like we do in bank, OD and like cash credit, it's sort of a loan on basis of the stock.
Exactly. Now you have stored your grains somewhere. Now you will have certain NWR. Now you can go to the bank. You can get access to the finance, cheaper loans for the small and marginal farmers.
You can trade it also.
So, I'm not sure about trading, but yeah, definitely there are, from the government side, the cheaper loans for the small and marginal farmers basically. For other farmers, it will be at the market prices, but still they will get the loans. That's why it's a support to the small and marginal farmers to protect them against distress sale. Now, because they had to have certain kind of the, say, money for the next agriculture cycle, how that money can come from support of government, cheaper loans from that. You see the point there. Primary agriculture cooperative societies warehouses have also been covered under negotiable warehouse receipt system, so that small and marginal farmers may get benefited from this scheme. Then post-harvest management of food grains and export policy. Come to sugar production. Regarding sugar production, it says India is the largest consumer and second largest producer. Highest producer UP, Maharashtra, Karnataka. Now you come to sugarcane pricing policy. So for sugarcane we have FRP, fair and remunerative prices. Again, how does this price come? The same way how MSP was brought. Recommendation of CACP decided by the government. How CACP comes to the data, various inputs from the industry, from the farmers, everywhere it takes the data and recommend it. So same procedure it is. Now it says that farmers are not required to wait for the end of the season or for any announcement of the profits, because one of the component is profit of the industries, mills, sugar mills. But the farmers, they won't have to wait till the end, see how much profit the mills they have got, and then depending upon them the variation of FRP, it won't be. They'll get in. This will be decided without waiting for that, and without you can say including the profits of the individual mills, whether the mills come into profit or not, right? Separate individual mills, still the FRP can be higher. You have seen year after year various governments, the government have announced FRP and higher just to attract it's a political decision, isn't it? Just announcement of MSP and FRP. So it is a huge issue in fact for the sugar mills. The mills, they are running into losses, right? It's essential commodity. Their prices are controlled as well in the to a certain extent in the market, the sugar. Now the mills, they are running into losses, and they have to buy the sugar cane at higher prices year after year. So when it happens, the losses it is bound to happen. But how the government supports, what the government does, the government says pay off your arrears. It provides them certain subsidized loans for longer period of time at lower interest rate, and tell them to, so that they can bring liquidity into their accounts, as well as to pay off the cane arrears. Cane arrears, so because every time the mills are not able to pay the farmers, they don't have even this much of fund amount to pay the farmers, right? So it keeps on accumulating year after year, and become the sugarcane arrears that the mills, they have to pay to the farmers. So government comes in between to support it. How it does?
Bails them out.
Not exactly bails them out, but basically gives them loans at cheaper rates.
Yes, sir.
Right. So one of the solution could be, as proposed by Rangarajan committee proposed, that the farmers should be made part of the profit. There should be collaboration of farmers and the sugar mills industries, and profit could be shared. Next, ethanol blending program, ethanol blending petrol program. So ethanol is a byproduct of the sugar industry. That is molasses. So from molasses, ethanol can be produced. Now from the second generation fuel as well, now ethanol can be produced as it is the technology develops. How much is the 10 percentage is one of the criteria. Then it is supposed to be increased to the 20% for a period of time. Why ethanol blending program is a beneficial? Low pollution, cost efficiency as well, and support to the sugar industry. As uh, because sugar mills, they are running into losses, so why not to get certain benefit from the byproduct? Then you can see another scheme, extending financial assistance to sugar undertakings. So you can remember this scheme if the question comes from sugar industry. Major issue is sugar mills running into losses. Farmers, the FRP is increasing year after year, and even the mills are not able to pay the farmers the FRP. So cane areas, they have increased. What the government does, loans at cheaper rates, but it doesn't come with certain permanent solution, because when this difference keeps on increasing, they will the losses will still rise again in the next year, right? So providing loan is just a short term, you can say, cushion. Exactly. So here we see extending financial assistance to sugar undertaking. So what the permanent and long term solution you can propose, as proposed by Rangarajan committee? Sharing of profits. So here we have extending financial assistance scheme, assistance to sugar undertakings. For what purpose? So it says uh, through participating scheduled commercial banks, RRBs and cooperative banks for clearance of cane areas. Then incentive scheme for marketing and promotion of raw sugar production. So this incentive for marketing and promotion service for raw sugar production targeted for export market. So here the target is for export market. So this scheme will, this incentive will be utilized by the sugar mills for making payment to the farmers again. So you can see the objective in both scheme is what? To pay off the cane areas, sugar cane areas. Because anytime the government looks more for to get the support from the voters, the farmers. So even though it is providing certain financial assistance or incentives to the sugar mills, but condition is what? Whatever the liquidity you get in terms of the funds, pay off the sugarcane areas. So what are these schemes? Remember these. This could be helpful while writing the answers, issues to resolve issues regarding sugar industry. Even ethanol blending program is also a very good program. It diversify your suggestion part. So you can say having a reasonable prices for the ethanol in the market, right? When prices are good, it supports the sugar industry.
Even first refinery at Bhatinda.
Hmm?
Even first refinery at Bhatinda for ethanol.
First refined ethanol refinery.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
First bio-CNG plant at Korea.
Now then, sugar development fund. So here cess is collected at various rates on all sugar product produced and sold by the sugar industry. So this is cess. Cess is collected by the government. And this is collected to the SDF. What is the purpose? Purpose is to facilitate the rehabilitation and modernization of any sugar factory, making loans for undertaking any schemes for the development of sugarcane, making grants for the purpose of carrying out any research project aiming at promotion and development. So Sugar Development Fund. So this is also one of the initiative for sugar industry. Then stock holding limit and turnover limit on sugar, minimum fixed minimum indicative export quota. Basically, there has been rise in the prices of sugar. So to counter that rise, the exports, so there was earlier indicative export quota. Okay, this much of production you have to do the exports. So that particular quota that has been removed, withdrawn. Why? Because of rise in prices of sugar. Production subsidy as well given by the government, but this is low in terms to pay off the losses. So that's all from the sugar. Revise these initiatives again for sugar industry, because question can come in paper 1 geography, because there different industries are there. So sugar industry directly question can come. Same paper 3 also. So remember all these initiatives, read them again. Yes, initiatives to support sugar industry. कवि बताइए लास्ट से आप.
FRP सर.
शुगर इंडस्ट्री ये तो फार्मर्स के लिए है. इथेनॉल ब्लेंडिंग प्रोग्राम. यस. एक्सपोर्ट को अभी ये कोटा फिक्स है. यस यू कैन से, बट दैट कोटा हैज बीन रिलैक्स, तो अभी हटा दिया गया है, हट चुका है वो तो. So ये सबसे लास्ट में लिखना है कि सजेशन फ्रॉम योर सजेशन, राइट. सो फर्स्ट यू राइट द गवर्नमेंट already existing initiatives, then you say what further can be improved. Suggestion. In suggestion you can say the Rangrazan committee recommendation regarding profit sharing. Other initiatives, Abhishek.
Extending financial assistance to sugar undertakings.
Yes. And so what happens there?
Sir, government gives
financial assistance condition to pay off the cane areas. ठीक है. Another there was
sugar production
marketing. ठीक है, तो export के लिए करते हैं. Condition again pay off the areas. Then sugar development fund, cessation charge collected here for the different parts, for the different. Yes, ठीक है. That's all. Come to next, edible oils. It says country imports edible oils to meet the gap between demand and availability. So regarding vegetable oil industry, it says due to various reasons, mainly the seasonal availability of raw material, the total capacity utilization of edible oil industry around 35%. Because of the seasonal availability of the raw material for the vegetable oil industry, the existing capacity of the capacity utilization of the industry is only 35%. So they could, if there is available raw material, they can increase their potential, they can increase their capacity utilization. Then because of higher prices or more demand, so import of edible oils was allowed. You can leave it, even not so much important points are given, just to give understanding that we are importing, our country is importing the edible oils. As demand is more, supply is less. In our industry, we are not able to produce much of the edible oil, the vegetable oil, because of you can say seasonal availability of the raw materials. And finally come to international cooperation. Here there are a few programs: World Food Program (WFP), SARC Food Bank, Food and Agriculture Organization (FAO), and International Grain Council. So this is important for your PT point of view. Read all. So for World Food Program, so initially our government they allocated says food grains at BPL price under a country CPAP, but then it was new. Now we have new country strategic plan CSP 2015-18. So from 8 to 12 we had country program action plan for food grains. Then we have formed country strategic plan CSP for 15 to 18. With which organization it has been signed? UNWFP, Government of India, and this Department of Food and Public Distribution has been made the nodal department for strategic priority. Object, what it does basically, food improvement in PDS, food delivery system, and nutrition aspect of food-based schemes. So read it again. SARC Food Bank. So reserve of food grains maintained by each member country, and to supplement the national efforts to provide food security to the people of SARC region during emergency conditions and whenever there is shortage of food. That is SARC food grains. So SARC food bank. So different countries of SARC, they come together and supply, help each other whenever they have the different quota, how much country they have to contribute, different countries contribute to this SARC food bank. So this point can also be written when you discuss about SARC, the mutual collaboration, how they, though there are differences between different countries within SARC, right, but still there are various areas of cooperation that are going on. One is SARC food bank. We have also done last year SARC disaster management exercise as well, right? So remember a few initiatives that had been done. India has also proposed SARC satellite. Let's see, but there are certain impediments to it. Pakistan opposing to this.
So where will it be? SARC food bank in which country?
ऐसा कुछ they haven't said it, but I think it will be. It won't be. I think one infrastructure. I think within existing infrastructure only, it's obligation only.
I think that this has to be maintained in each SARC country.
So the quantum of reserve has been kept in different strategic locations in the designated godowns of FCA.
Right. So means within the existing infrastructure only, because how we can create a huge infrastructure just for the whole the SARC. So it will be only at different locations with the existing framework only. But certain amount could be separately allocated. Okay, this much would be for the SARC food bank. Then Food and Agriculture Organization FAO. So India is member of both FAO and CFS. What is CFS? Committee on World Food Security. It's a forum in the UN system for review and follow-up of policies. International Grain Council, Intergovernmental Forum for Exporting and Importing Countries of Cooperation Wheat and Coarse Grain. London. It has a secretariat. It comprises of two conventions, GTC and FAC. What is GTC? Grain Trade Convention and Food Aid Convention. So India is party to both. And India has been included in the category of exporting members. Revise these initiatives, 3-4 initiatives. So, what are the initiatives in international cooperation? Amit?
So, SARC Food Bank,
And in this program, the countries under the SARC have the respective quota to store the food in the disaster uh, time. And then World Food Program, and then
IGC International Grain Council.
London based international based
World Food Program. दिव्या बताइए what all you remember. See through the points again, go through points again and see. So there is CSP Country Strategic Plan 15 to 18, which organization UN World Food Program and Government of India. What it does, improvement in food PDS delivery system. This is the objective. Only few things, agreement between what parties and what is the objective. SARC Food Bank, yes, Kushagar.
Supplement national efforts to provide food security during the times of emergencies. Under this, all countries store, maintain their strategic food banks, and which helps during emergencies.
Okay. About FAO, Kavi, FAO.
India is member, sir.
India is member, yes. What else?
So it's a body of UN and it does the work of policies like keeping a check or keeping an eye on the countries which are following the norms of food security.
So we have this committee in World Food Security, CFS. So India is member to both FAO, CFS, UN system, IGC, Anchit, International Grain Council.
Export import.
So what it is? Intergovernmental Forum. Where it is? In London. So two conventions come under this.
There was only wheat and rice, or there were other crops also?
No, they have included only these wheat and rice. Wheat, rice, or combination of both as assessed by shared country.
There is no food.
They haven't indicated it, so they specifically mentioned this. Either wheat or rice or combination of both. So IGC, there are two conventions, GTC and FAC. And India is in the category of exporting member. So you can revise this chapter again, only now revise only from the PT point of view, whatever you find important for PT. Filter it out again, don't read much of the part that is not important, not relevant. So you have to make in a way so that you can revise the whole yearbook within, say, a couple of hours. Okay? So how it can happen? Again, these things are linked to your current affair part or certain parts of basics. So we keep on doing, and we'll provide the booklet as well for the, say, first 8 to 10 chapters that we have done in the next class. I will again see through it what I can further eliminate. I can further try to reduce the data, the information. That's all for today. Okay, so that's all for today's class. If you like this video, you hit like and subscribe to our channel as well.